Echoes of Us, written by Azalea Moon. Previously on Echoes of Us. Camila Morales steps into the firelit shadows of Sebastian Narvaez's secluded coastal estate, where she finds the man she thought dead, standing alive and burning with secrets. Years have passed since he vanished without a word, leaving her heart in ruins. But the truth he carries is more devastating than silence. He never left her. He was protecting her. From betrayal, from corruption, from a truth that killed a man and nearly destroyed them both. As revelations unfold, the embers of their past ignite. A missing tape, a legacy on the line, and a love neither time nor distance could erase. Through every stolen glance, every confession whispered in the dark, Camila and Sebastian find themselves pulled back into the gravity of what they once were, and what they still might be. But passion can't outrun the storm, and the danger isn't over, not yet. And now, Episode 7.
I wake to the warmth of soft skin against my own, to the steady rhythm of Camila's breath as she lies nestled in my arms. For a moment, I don't move, don't breathe. I just watch her. Her dark lashes flutter lightly against her cheek, her lips parted slightly, the early morning light slipping through the sheer curtains and painting her in gold. She looks peaceful, like she belongs here. Last night was unreal, passionate, desperate. 20 years of longing poured into every kiss, every touch, every whispered breath between us. I memorized every inch of her, every sound she made, the way her fingers gripped my back like she was afraid I'd disappear again. Even now, my hands still ache to touch her, to hold on, but reality creeps in, reminding me that there is still so much left unsaid. I inhale deeply, pressing the barest kiss to her hair before slowly, carefully pulling my arm from beneath her. She barely stirs, only sighing softly as she shifts, tucking her hands beneath her cheek like she doesn't have a care in the world. God, I wish I could let her keep that illusion a little longer, but the truth has to come out. And I'm not letting her go this time. I slide out of bed, grabbing my sweatpants and pulling them on before making my way out of the room. My house is silent, still. Good. Today is Sunday. I know Mari won't interrupt me, my schedule is clear. Because today is about her. And if I have my way, she'll be with me for as long as I can make it happen. I pad into the kitchen, the cool marble tiles grounding me as I start the coffee. The smell of fresh grounds fills the air, blending with the distant scent of the ocean rolling in through the open balcony doors. I brace my hands on the counter, staring out at the horizon, my mind racing. There is so much left to tell her. About Victor, about the tape, about why she is still in danger, even if she doesn't know it yet. Last night was about us, about everything we lost, everything we were denied. But this morning is about truth. Because I'm not going to lose her again. Not now, not ever. And I know the moment she wakes up, the past will come rushing back in, whether we're ready for it or not. But first, coffee. And maybe, just maybe, one more stolen moment before reality comes crashing in.
I stir at the scent of fresh coffee and something warm, buttery, and sweet pulling me from the depths of sleep. I stretch slightly against the sheets, and that's when I feel it. The delicious ache deep in my muscles, the lingering heat on my skin, the unmistakable reminder of last night. A slow, satisfied smile curls at the corner of my lips. My eyes flutter open, and the first thing I see is him. Sebastian stands at the edge of the bed, a tray in his hands, shirtless, glorious, and bathed in the soft morning light. His broad chest, carved from pure strength and discipline, is on full display, the ridges of his abs leading down to where his sweatpants hang dangerously low on his hips. His dark hair is a little messy, evidence of my fingers from the night before. And when he smirks, that slow, devastating smirk that has always unraveled me, I know I am exactly where I am meant to be.
Morning, Sleeping Beauty.
I stretch lazily, the sheet slipping down and bearing the curve of my shoulder. His gaze flickers, just for a second, but I catch it. The way his eyes stray from the tray in his hands to my skin. My smile deepens. I still have that effect on him. You made me breakfast? I ask, propping myself up on one elbow. He sets the tray down beside me and sinks onto the edge of the bed.
I owed you at least that after last night.
And just like that, it rushes back. Last night, the way his hands moved over me like he was memorizing me. The way he whispered my name like a prayer, like an apology, like he couldn't believe I was real. The way 20 years disappeared the second we touched. Heat stirs in my chest, warm and low, and I don't fight it. I let it sink in, wrap around me like these sheets. Because I'm not scared of last night anymore. Whatever brought me here, grief, anger, confusion, it doesn't matter now. Not when I'm lying in his bed, looking up at him with a kind of ease I haven't felt in years. I belong here, and whatever's waiting for us next, we'll face it. Together. I glance at the tray, fluffy pancakes, bright slices of fruit, steam curling from a cup of coffee. You made all this? I tease, raising a brow. Or did you threaten some poor chef into showing up at dawn? He chuckles, lifting his own coffee.
I actually know how to cook now, Morales. I'm full of surprises.
I pick up a fork, still grinning. I'll be the judge of that. But before I can take a bite, he leans in and tucks a strand of hair behind my ear.
Eat first. Then I'm going to show you just how much you still belong here.
My pulse skips. Last night was everything. And somehow, I know, we're only just getting started. After breakfast, plus a little indulgent detour, we're back in bed. I'm tangled in Sebastian's sheets, my skin warm, my breath finally slowing, my head rests against his chest, and I just listen to his heartbeat. Slow, steady, strong, like an anchor pulling me back from the storm. It's strange how something as simple as this, skin to skin, no words, just the sound of someone still here, can feel like salvation. He's real. He's alive. And he's mine. At least for this moment. My fingers drift along his bare torso, tracing the lines of muscle out of habit more than anything. He's warm under my touch, his skin familiar and yet still capable of catching me off guard. Then I feel it. My fingers graze over the spot I've avoided. The scar. The one I'd noticed since the beginning. Since the first time he peeled off his shirt and my breath caught. But I never asked. Maybe I wasn't ready to know. Maybe I didn't want to hear the answer. But now, I do. And the moment my skin brushes over that raised line, something inside me locks up. I go still, frozen, furious. Because that scar, it's not just a wound. It's a story. One he hasn't told me yet. Is this from prison? I ask, my voice barely above a whisper. He breathes in deep, his chest rising and falling beneath my palm.
Yeah.
I swallow hard. I always knew prison had marked him, not just in the ways you could see, but in the weight behind his eyes, the silences between his words. But this is different. This is something I can touch, something that won't fade. I lift my head and look at him. Really look. Please, I say softly, continue telling me what happened that day, how you ended up in jail. His whole body stills. His fingers tighten around the sheet, his jaw locking like he's fighting something inside himself. For a moment, I think he's going to shut down again, push me away like he used to. But then he exhales, slow and heavy, and his hand slips into my hair, anchoring him to the present. But I can tell his mind is no longer here.
And just like that, I'm not here anymore. Not in this bed. Not with her. I'm back in 2004. The fluorescent lights buzzed above me in Victor's office, casting that cold, ugly glow that made everything feel worse than it already was. I was sitting there, stiff as hell, staring at the forged contracts spread across his desk like a losing hand I never meant to play. Bank routing numbers. Shell corporations. Jorge's signature. Copied, traced, abused. All of it. Right there. Every ugly truth laid bare in black and white. Then the door opened behind me. I smelled Victor before I saw him. Some overpriced cologne I used to think smelled like success. The rain had soaked his jacket, and I heard the soft drip of water hitting the tile as he walked in, like it was just another night. He shook out his sleeves, all casual.
"You're here late. Everything okay?"
I didn't look up at first. My fingers kept tracing those numbers, trying to find some alternate explanation, some detail I'd missed. I was still praying I was wrong. I wasn't. Was Ramon asking too many questions about these? I asked. My voice came out steady, even though my insides were shaking. Victor froze mid-step, hands still on the door, shoulders tight.
"What are you talking about?"
The routing numbers, Vic, the shell corporations, the way you've been using Jorge's signature to move money through the label. Was that why Ramon had to die? His face changed, just for a second, a flicker. Like the mask slipped, then it was back.
"You don't know what you're talking about,"
he said, shutting the door behind him slowly. Too slowly. Like he needed the time.
"Ramon got himself killed going back to old habits. You know that."
I stood, my chair scraping across the tile like a warning. Ramon was clean. 15 years clean. And you used that to cover up what you did to him. Victor's expression hardened. He came around the desk, slipping into that fake smile he always used when he was cornered.
"I didn't do anything to Ramon. Look, I know these contracts look complicated, but it's just business. The label's thriving, everyone's getting paid, nobody's getting hurt."
Nobody's getting hurt? I could feel the fire in my chest, rising fast. Ramon Torres is dead. Jorge's name is being used to launder drug money through his own label. The one he built from nothing. The one he gave you a future with. Victor slammed both hands down on the desk. The papers jumped, scattered.
"I'm protecting this label."
No, I snapped. You're destroying it.
"You think Jorge's dream survives in this business without getting a little dirty? You think Camila gets her shot if we keep it clean? That's not the world we live in, little brother."
And right then I knew. He didn't just cross a line. He'd redrawn it. Moved it so far, he couldn't even see where it used to be. And I couldn't let it stand. My throat tightens. The kind of tightness that makes it hard to breathe, let alone speak. But I get the words out, anyway. "Don't you dare use Cece to justify this," I snap. Or me. Or Jorge. This isn't about protecting anyone. This is about you being in too deep with the wrong people and trying to dig your way out by burying everyone else. The rain starts pounding harder against the windows, like the sky's pissed off too. In the distance, thunder rolls through the city, low, steady, like a warning. And for the first time, I see it. Fear. It flickers across Victor's face, just long enough for me to catch it. Not guilt, not shame. Fear.
"You don't understand what'll happen if this stops. These people, they're not just dealers, they own people. Cops, judges, politicians. If the money stops flowing..."
I step toward him. Then what? My hands ball into fists at my sides. They'll kill you like they killed Ramon? Victor's eyes drop.
"They'll kill everyone. You, me, Jorge, Camila, everyone connected to this label. Ramon didn't get it. He thought he could go to the cops, like they'd protect him, like they'd protect any of us."
I look down at the contract again. At Jorge's name, his signature, copied, printed, smeared into this mess he never asked for. The man who gave us everything, the man who trusted him, the man Victor just handed over to wolves. And all I can think is, how the hell did we get here? And how the hell do I get us out? My stomach twists as the weight of it all settles in. I finally say, "So this is your solution. Drag everyone down with you. Make Jorge the fall guy." Victor's jaw locks, like he's biting back a dozen excuses he knows won't work.
"I'm handling it."
No, Vic. I reach for the paper, fold it slowly, deliberately, and slide it into my jacket. "You have until tomorrow morning to tell Jorge everything. If you don't, I will." His face crumples, all that swagger, that certainty. It's gone.
"Sebastian, please, you're my brother."
His voice isn't sharp anymore. It's not polished or rehearsed. It's just broken. My hand closes around the doorknob tight. "That's why I'm giving you until morning." And then I walk out, into the rain, not knowing that would be the last day of my life as I knew it. My voice fades, thinning out like the storm I just crawled through. I'm still here, lying beside her, but in my head I'm soaked through, shivering, standing in the doorway of a decision I couldn't undo. Camila hasn't moved. She's curled against me, her hand still resting lightly over the scar on my abdomen. Her touch is gentle, grounding, the only thing keeping me tethered to right now. Then, finally, she speaks. Soft, careful, like the words might break if she pushes too hard.
You gave him a chance to do the right thing.
I swallow hard. I did. She lifts her head, eyes finding mine in the quiet.
What would happen next?
I drag in a breath, my chest rising beneath her. My fingers graze the bare skin of her back, needing something real, something warm, because everything else feels cold again. Victor made his choice, and I paid the price. I let the breath go, slow and rough, and my hand tightens on her waist like she's the only thing keeping me from falling apart.
My world was already reeling, spinning off its axis. After hearing Sebastian lay bare the truth about Ramon's murder, about Victor's betrayal. But as I lay here now, my head on Sebastian's chest, my fingers tracing the scar that marked the price he paid, something darker begins to stir in me. My father, Jorge Morales. The memory presses in like a weight on my chest, suffocating and sudden. They told me it was an overdose. That's what the official report said. What the tabloids splashed across their covers, what the industry whispered behind closed doors with practiced pity and suspicion. But it had never made sense, not to me. My father didn't use hard drugs. He wasn't some reckless, washed-up exec trying to recapture his youth. He barely even drank, just a glass of whiskey here and there after closing a big deal. Always neat, always measured. And yet, when I was 23, I got the worst phone call of my life. And it was Victor, of course.
Your father was found dead in his office, an apparent overdose.
Those words had gutted me. I remember gripping the edge of the kitchen counter as the phone slid from my hand, my knees giving out. I remember the sound of my own sobs, raw, ragged, helpless. I remember how the story never sat right. Not then, not now. My chest tightens as the truth takes shape in my mind, terrifying and familiar. What if it wasn't an overdose? What if it wasn't an accident at all? What if Victor didn't just betray Ramon or Sebastian? What if he betrayed my father too? And what if he killed him to keep this entire empire from crumbling? The investigation had been over before it ever really began. A few officers, a sealed report, a flat, rehearsed summary about stress and addiction. They called it an overdose. They called it a tragedy. They called it case closed. And the whispers, God, the whispers, that Jorge Morales had been drowning in debt, that the label was failing, that the pressures of the business had broken him. But I never believed it, not for a second. My father wasn't perfect, but he was steady, proud, disciplined. He didn't crumble, he didn't run, and he sure as hell didn't stick a needle in his own arm and die alone in his office. Not my father, not like that. And now, after everything Sebastian's just told me about the forged documents, the laundering, the death threats, Ramon, I believe it even less. A cold, sick wave rises in my stomach. Could Victor have done the same thing to my father that he did to Ramon? Could he have killed him? The thought is a blade, sharp, sudden, and it guts me. But I shove it down, forcing myself to breathe through the nausea. This isn't the time to open that door. Not yet. Right now, Sebastian needs me. I lift my head from his chest and look at him, really look at him, his jaw still tight, eyes fixed on the ceiling like he's lost somewhere he doesn't want to be. My fingers trace gently over the scar again, and I feel the shiver that runs through him. Pain lives there, just beneath the surface. Pain I don't fully understand yet. Sebastian lies still beneath me, his eyes fixed on the ceiling like it's the only thing keeping him from falling apart. I can feel the slow rise and fall of his chest against my cheek, but it's not calm. His heartbeat isn't steady. It's heavy, labored, like his body's still caught in some invisible fight he never really walked away from. Are you okay to keep going? I ask again, my voice careful, gentle. He doesn't answer right away. His hand tightens slightly on my waist, like he's holding on to something, maybe me, maybe the strength to say what comes next. Then finally he exhales and gives a small, sharp nod. It's not a lie, but it's not the whole truth either. Still, it's enough. I stay close, my hand still resting over the scar. I don't rush him. His voice is rough now, quieter, like each word scrapes its way out of his throat.
I didn't sleep much that night. Every time I closed my eyes, I kept seeing those contracts sitting on my counter. Kept rehearsing what I was going to say to Jorge when I saw him in the morning. I kept thinking about you.
Something in me tenses, a soft hitch in my breath, but I don't say anything.
You texted me all night.
He continues, his fingers brushing lightly along my shoulder. His touch is almost absent, like he's not even aware he's doing it. Just chasing a memory through the shape of me.
I wanted to answer, I almost did, but what could I have said? That you were right about Victor? That he wasn't just stealing money, he was getting people killed?
My throat tightens. I remember that night so vividly it makes my stomach turn. The unanswered texts, the calls that went to voicemail, the way I'd sat on my bedroom floor with my phone clutched in my hand, begging it to light up. But now I know he wasn't ignoring me. He was already being pulled under.
That morning, I went to the studio expecting to meet Jorge. Instead, I walked straight into a trap. The second I stepped inside, 2 detectives were waiting for me. Martinez and Cooper, their badges were already out. I asked where Victor was, where Jorge was, and Cooper just said it like it was no big deal. Your brother provided us with some very interesting information.
Sebastian keeps going, like he can't afford to stop now. His voice is even, but flat, like all the feeling has been drained out of it. Something twists sharply and deeply in my chest. Sebastian's fingers curl into the sheets beside me, knuckles white. All I think is, detectives? But if Sebastian had been arrested, why didn't I know? Why wasn't it on the news? Why did Victor tell me he was dead? And, as if reading my mind,
They had everything. Footage of me entering Ramon's studio the night he died, my fingerprints on the paperwork, and Victor, he backed it all up.
the puzzle pieces are falling into place too fast to hold on to. My mind is racing but still stuck on one question. Why didn't I know? My voice is barely a whisper. Sebastian, I never saw anything about your arrest. It wasn't in the news. No one told me. I stop because suddenly I get it. Victor didn't just frame Sebastian. He erased him. Sebastian turns to me, eyes locking on mine, dark, unflinching.
That's because it was never supposed to be public.
His words slice through the silence like a blade.
Martinez and Cooper weren't just detectives. They were on the payroll.
On the payroll, he nods, slow and deliberate.
Victor made sure my arrest never left the station. No press, no records that weren't controlled by the people he worked for, the people he was afraid of.
A chill rushes through me, sinks into my bones. I spent years mourning a man who was never dead. It hits me like a freight train, crashing through every memory of that awful day. I can still hear Victor's voice, calm, practiced, sickeningly gentle, standing in my doorway, telling me Sebastian was gone. He said,
I'm so sorry, Camilla. The rain was bad last night. He lost control. There was nothing anyone could do.
and I believed him. God, I believed him. All this time while I cried for him, while I laid flowers at an empty grave, while I tried to find a way to live without him, Sebastian was alive, locked away, buried in a different kind of grave. I pressed my hands into the sheets, trying to steady myself. Victor told me himself, I whisper, the day after your arrest. He came to my house, looked me in the eye, and told me you died in a car accident. Sebastian's whole body stiffens. For a beat, he says nothing. Then slowly, like it physically costs him, he sits up and turns toward me. The sheet pools around his waist.
He came to you?
I nod, my throat burning. Yes, morning after your supposed car accident happened. The day of your arrest. His jaw tightens, fury settling in his eyes. Quiet, contained, but dark as a storm. I cried in his arms, Sebastian. I press my fingers to my temple, my pulse pounding beneath my skin. He held me while I broke, and the whole time, he knew. He knew you were alive. He knew what he'd done. Sebastian reaches for me, pulling me in, wrapping his arms around me like he can hold all the broken pieces together, like he's afraid I'll shatter.
I'm here, see? I'm here now.
I close my eyes, forehead pressed against his chest, trying to breathe. If I let myself feel all of this right now, it'll swallow me whole. Not yet. I need answers. I need the rest. I force myself to pull back just enough to meet his eyes. My voice comes out steadier than I expect. Tell me everything. He watches me for a long second, making sure I'm ready. Then he exhales, dragging a hand down his face. The sun sinking low, casting the bedroom in gold and amber. The fire's mostly burned out, just embers now, but the heat still lingers. Outside, the world keeps moving. I blink, realizing how long we've been here, wrapped in sheets, wrapped in memories, wrapped in each other. Hours, maybe, but it feels like no time at all. As if realizing the time as well, Sebastian runs a hand through his hair and exhales again before saying,
We should take a break. Shower. Eat something.
I sit up slowly, rolling my stiff shoulders. Now that he says it, I realize I'm starving, drained. Emotionally, physically. I nod, ready to agree. Then it hits me. My phone. I freeze. Shit. I swing my legs off the bed. Maggie must be freaking out. Sebastian gives a crooked little smile, rubbing the back of his neck.
Yeah, she's probably organizing a search party.
I grab the robe draped over the chair and slip it on, heading for the door. Behind me, he reaches for his phone on the nightstand.
Go check in. I'll do the same.
I pad down the hallway, leaving the warmth of the bedroom behind. The contrast makes me stop for half a second. Everything feels different now. Lighter. Heavier? I don't even know. I spot my purse near the front door and dig inside for my phone. Dead. Of course, I mutter, plugging it into the wall. Sebastian appears a second later, still shirtless, sweatpants slung low on his hips, unfairly attractive for someone who just relived hell. My phone lights up. Maggie, 15 missed calls, 27 texts. I groan. I'm never going to hear the end of this. Sebastian chuckles, glancing down at his phone. Then his expression shifts. I catch it. Everything okay? His jaw tightens, just slightly, but then he shakes it off.
Yeah, just work.
But something in his voice makes me pause. Because for the first time since last night, I can tell the past isn't the only thing weighing on him now.
That's it for this week's episode of Echoes of Us, but the story is far from over. New episodes drop every Thursday, so be sure to follow, subscribe, and never miss a moment. Thank you for listening and being a part of the story. Your support means everything. If you enjoyed the episode, please consider leaving a review or sharing with a friend. It helps more listeners find us. Until next time, listen closely, because sometimes the past isn't as far away as it seems.